Hi there, I'm Dr. Stephen Phelan, and if you'll take a moment and imagine this scenario with me. It's a couple of months from now. You've completed the core curriculum for my occlusion design online training program. It's, as I said, a few months from now, you've completed the 6 core modules for occlusion design, and next week you have a patient coming in to prepare the upper arch. So to prepare 14 upper teeth for a combination of veneers and crowns. You've already completed some composite restorations on the bottom arch. You've done some refinement to the occlusion. Now you're going to complete the upper rehabilitation. Patients also bleached their lower teeth. So it's going to be a partial rehabilitation, not a full mouth rehabilitation. And you have completed the core modules of occlusion design. So you have the functional analysis completed, you've completed risk assessment for this patient, and developed a treatment plan that has been then transferred to the diagnostic wax-up. So now the diagnostic wax-up is completed, and you have great confidence in the treatment plan for this patient because we actually spoke about this case, this patient's treatment during the November Occlusion Design Members Coaching webinar. And when we talked about the case online during the webinar, you sent us the digital records for the patient, the photos of the models, radiographs. We talked about the case. I helped you develop the treatment plan. And then I realized before the webinar that I have a case that's very similar to this case that I've completed in my practice, and that's on the Occlusion Design membership site, the treatment case studies on the membership site. So I basically added that case to the keynote presentation for the webinar. And after we looked at your case, I showed you my case, which was similar. And the confidence that you gained by looking at a case that was similar, that was treated, and knowing the occlusion design, the aesthetic design, the overbite, overjet, angle of guidance, knowing all of these things that worked for another patient that then you could use for your patient, that gives you a lot of confidence in the treatment plan you've developed and the diagnostic wax-up that your ceramist created. Not only did you see all this on the webinar, we shared this webinar recording with your ceramist. Your ceramist was able to come into your office, watch this on your computer, and verify exactly the visualization for this case as well, so that everybody's on board. And you followed the systems in occlusion design to accurately mount those study models. You have 2 sets of study models. One was left untouched, one was used for the diagnostic wax-up. So you have this diagnostic wax-up. It's on an accurately mounted set of study models on the articulator. You really are confident going forward with the case. You followed the force management checklist, the occlusion design diagnostic wax-up communication form, and you shared the visualization of the case that I've treated with your ceramist. So this is really a no-brainer now that the wax-up is completed. It's completed exactly how you guys visualized the case to be based on our webinar together. So the night before the patient arrives to come in for the preparations. The night before the patient arrives, you go log on to the occlusion design site and you look at Module 5. You look at Module 5 because you want to review how to make provisionals for porcelain veneer cases, because that's a little more tricky. So you watch the video that I filmed in the microscope that's on Module 5 showing exactly how we make the provisionals, take them out of the mouth, carve the embrasure form, especially the gingival embrasure form, and then spot bond the provisionals back into place. You also review the preparation techniques using the guides that I recommend and the putties, and you review the core buildup technique and the rebuilding of structurally compromised teeth. So you've reviewed all that the night before the patient arrives. You get to the operatory the next morning and you look around and the room is set up perfectly. Your assistants watched our stent fabrication video on Module 5. So she has the wax up, the duplicate model of the wax up, and then all the guides and putties created and on the counter right here for you the day that you come in to prepare the case. Everything's ready. It's exactly the way we want it. And it's exactly based on the systems that you learned on occlusion design. So This is all ready to go. The patient comes into the chair. You execute the treatment plan to perfection. Beautiful preparations, a really accurate impression, and then you make those provisionals and they look just like the wax up, and the patient loves it because it's visualized what they had in mind based on, again, the coaching webinar and your consultations with the patient. So everything looks great. But you know in the system, we always bring the patient back down the road for a follow-up assessment when there's no numbness to check the aesthetics and the occlusion. And you feel confidence going forward because you know when the patient comes back, if they have a phonetic problem, if they have an occlusion problem, or if they have an aesthetic design problem, you can manage that based on the training that you've received. So you feel confident, and you know that you can also fabricate the final bite records with all the teeth prepared. You have a strategy for doing this and making sure that they're very precise. And you also know how to create all the other restorative records that the ceramist would need to accurately reproduce your diagnostic wax-up, which has been transferred into the provisionals, and transfer that now into the final porcelain restorations. So you have all the records that you need, and they're very precise to give to the ceramist. So you don't have a lot of messing around at the insert appointment. So the ceramist is now going to build the porcelain restorations. The whole arch, one shot. You're going to put in the whole arch in one shot. The night before the bonding and seating of the porcelain restorations, you go back onto the occlusion design site and you review Module 6. In Module 6, I have a series of 4 videos where I'm bonding in an upper arch of porcelain restorations, start to finish. It's about 3.5 hours of video training, but it shows every single thing that I do. It was filmed in this microscope as well as some outside cameras. So you see how we have the operatory set up. You see how the detail of what I'm doing tooth level with the microscope, and you see kind of what we're doing in the operatory. So you get multiple views to know how to work the case between you and the assistant and the patient. So you're really feeling confident again because you've reviewed these videos again the night before the patient comes in. So before the patient arrives, you take a look at the porcelain restorations your ceramist has created, and you know that your ceramist has followed the systems again and the lab communication to create these porcelain restorations based on your final provisional restorations, which were also based on the diagnostic wax-up, but you've perfected that in the provisional restorations. So you bond the case into place. The patient comes in, you've bonded the case into place based on the exact systems that I shared with you in that video series in Module 6, and you spend less than 20 minutes adjusting the occlusion and anything else. So it's very, very precise insert appointment because of the steps that were taken right from the beginning with the comprehensive diagnostic records all the way to the restorative records for the full arch case and the bite records that you took of the prepared teeth. Every step of the treatment along the way was done with precision and completed with precision so that when you seat the case, you're spending less than 20 minutes finalizing any adjustments. Your patient looks at her new smile and is overwhelmed. You know, she gets up, looks in the big mirror in the operatory, and she's just overwhelmed. She's thanking everyone. Before she leaves, she hugs you and your assistant and just tells you that, you know, she really appreciates your effort because it's, you know, what we can do will change people's lives depending on where they're starting at. And your patient's appreciation makes all of this worthwhile. It makes all of this worthwhile, all the hard work, all the time you're spending at night looking over these videos the night before treatments. It makes it all worthwhile. And you can do this kind of dentistry. I believe that beautiful dentistry with precise fit and occlusion is not just for the gurus. I believe that all of us can do this kind of dentistry with the proper coaching, training, and systems, with the proper systems. So today is the last day to join the new class for my occlusion design program. I'm closing the registration for the new class tonight at midnight. today is the last day to join Occlusion Design. I'm not going to open the program for a new class until next spring. So today's the day. You're here watching me now, watching this video. You have a few minutes, you're watching this video. So it's time to make a decision. And if you'd like, scroll to the bottom of this page, click Enroll Now, join me with Occlusion Design, and I will connect with you on the membership site. Thank you.